Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere outside of Cleveland, Ohio, where the Cleveland Cavaliers defeated the Toronto Raptors in 7 games and move on to the next round of the NBA playoffs. My name is Brian Engelman. Today is Star Wars Day. Thank you for that loud playback. Today is Star Wars Day. Ta-da! May the 4th be with you. In this right here, it's May 4th, 2026 for documentation purposes. And this right here, the thing that you're watching, is called the TNAM Daily Show. The TNAM Daily Show, that stands for the new American media, because the old American media has failed you. So let's put it up on the screen so you don't forget it. On today's show, we're going to recap what happened in the NBA playoffs. Really just a quick overview, which teams advanced. There's 8 teams. One of them will win an NBA championship for sports fans like myself, who host a show called the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Follow us in all the places. If you want some merch, send me a message. It's big. I really want to win a championship without LeBron James attached. It's the only Cleveland championship I've ever celebrated in my lifetime of being a sports fan. And so it's a big deal. And had a massive performance from Jarrett Allen yesterday. But all that being said, we're going to talk about Spirit Airlines closing. They had chances, but it didn't happen. By the way, GameStop has placed a bid to purchase eBay. It looks like all that GameStop stock, that's going to be tough to say, GameStop stock has potentially flooded them with enough money to purchase eBay, as eBay seems to be falling behind Whatnot and TikTok Shop with live selling. Not sure why eBay's not doing that. Of course, follow Picking Winners Resale. I run a permanent garage sale over there on Whatnot. Picking Winners, you can find our YouTube channel as well, Picking Winners Resale. I think everybody should be doing some form of reselling. Anything that doesn't serve your purpose. Snap a picture. You do a search. You snap a pic. It'll tell you, these are selling for $20. List it. Throw it up online. And then just every day, it's like you pull up the crab trap. Did I get any crab today? Oh, look, there's some crabs in there. Yay. I get to eat. You set out a fishing net. Well, what'd I get? Oh, I got some fish. The stuff we don't need, we need to let it go. Maybe there's a lesson in there, maybe a deeper lesson in there. But on May the 4th, I'm going to read you a comment from Padma. Padma? I'm thinking of Padma from the Chef Show, Top Chef. Padma. I think there's an extra syllable there that I forgot to say. Anyway, we're going to cover that in the news. Of course, Spirit Airlines. The Strait of Hormuz conflict has intensified. It is what it is. It's static. It's fluid. Things are happening. Things are being accused. Things are being denied. Who knows? We're going to try to parse it out. And of course, the ticking clock on Anthony Fauci lying to Congress. Will he be indicted? Will he be charged? You get him on the small thing and you work your way up to crimes against humanity. Oh, well, he had a pardon. You think someone gets a pardon for crimes against humanity? Yeah, well, the installed leader said it was okay, so, it's okay. For what Fauci did? Well, we will talk about it. Everybody, do me a favor. Smash the thumbs up button if you have not yet, if you're watching on YouTube. Friendly reminder that we are crowdfunded. We love you. We appreciate you. We need you. And you can subscribe to the New American Media on Patreon, YouTube, and Rumble, as well as you can drop. By the way, my name's Brian the Bartender. I've said that for a while. I've bartended at many places. But if you use an alliteration, people have a tendency to remember you. And if they remember you, they're more likely to have fun, come back again, tip you well, because now they know you. Oh, yeah, I know the bartender. Yep. I made sure that you did. But if you want to leave yourself a tip at the end of this lunch, that is how I work. I work and serve and work and serve. We talk about the stuff on the TV. We have a good time. And then if you're so kind, we take tips those ways. But yeah, YouTube, Rumble Rant, Super Chat, subscriptions, as well as Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal. Let me put that all at the bottom of the screen, get that out of the way. There it is. I see people are in chat. Thank you for being here. And I'll tell you what, without further delay, the TNAM Daily Show starts right now.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
Thank you all so very much for being here. Yes, yes, yes. Good times, everybody. Good times. Let's give you a quick recap of what we are looking at in the NBA playoffs. Cavaliers had a monster game from Jarrett Allen. Was it 22 points, 19 rebounds? Dude went bonkers. What do you have? Like a double-double in the third quarter alone? And the Cavs needed it. Donovan Mitchell, the rest of the superstars. Donovan Mitchell and James Harden did not have the best game. And it took a lot of the role players to get the win. So they do an advance to play the Pistons. Pistons are the 1 seed, so they'll have home court advantage. Number 1 seed playing the number 4 seed Cavs. JB Bickerstaff, the former Cavs coach that was fired 2 years ago, has led the Pistons to the number 1 seed in home court advantage. So it's going to be a fun series to watch. On the other side, the 76ers upset the Celtics. I mean, it's wide open in the Eastern Conference. Any one of these 4 teams could make it. And they're going to play the Knicks, the 3 seed Knicks. So that's who you have. Philadelphia 76ers, New York Knicks, Cleveland Cavaliers, Detroit Pistons. In the West, the San Antonio Spurs are the 2 seed, and they take on the number 6 seed Timberwolves. Timberwolves took out the Nuggets, a tough team. Whereas the number 1 seed Thunder, Oklahoma City Thunder, reigning NBA champions, although if Halliburton didn't get injured last year for the Pacers, who knows, taking on the 4 seed Lakers, Luka-less Lakers. LeBron is having a turn back the clock scenario over there. Just played incredible in season 23. It's pretty ridiculous, but we've grown accustomed to that ridiculousness. So anyway, that's essentially the update I wanted to give you. Just let you know who's playing and what's what. Lake Leon. Hello, Brian the bartender. Hello, Lake Leon the customer. Thank you for being here. You know, I was thinking about doing something different. I haven't tried this out, but I might as well. Let's go to it right away. We're jumping right into the stories. I'm going to try something new here. We don't usually share with you the Agree to Disagree show group on Facebook, but let's do it today. See how it goes. Oh, that's how it goes. Recentering issues. X22 report put this out and says Japan just received 900 barrels. Let's try that again. Japan just received 900,000 barrels of American crude oil shipped all the way from Texas through the Panama Canal. Trump pushed China out of Panama, removed Maduro from Venezuela, blocked Iran's exports. The entire world is now buying oil from the United States. How do we feel about that? Do we feel some sort of way? I mean, I sort of feel some sort of way. We commented, great. When does our gallon drop to 99 cents again? This is not good timing. Thank you, Marion. We love all the regulars here at this bar. The bar is nothing without you. Brian told us all to hit the thumbs up button. Therefore, I did. Yes, dear leader. Thank you, Marion. Yep, the algorithms appreciate that interaction. The comments help. The thumbs up help. I know on some versions of the YouTube app, you can smash like hearts or confetti or thumbs up or stuff that it like gives you like a little thing and it shows up on your screen. Please do that. Do all the things in all the places. The new American media is everywhere. But yeah, this gas going to $4 and $5 a gallon. This is not it. This is not a way to win a midterm. This is not bueno. I don't know how long it's going to take to resolve this thing. But this is not good. There's no metric where people filling up their gas tank are going to be happy. And if you could put the stickers with Joe Biden clumsily pointing and saying, I did that. You have to be honest about what this is. Now, Bob France, a colleague of mine, said that if you're going to say, yeah, I'm out on Trump, I'm done doing this. I didn't vote for this. Well, hold on. Are you telling me that because gas is higher right now, it's at the levels it was when Biden took it up, that you're out on Trump? Does that mean you would have rather had a Kamala Harris presidency? Come on. No person would have said that. And by the way, let's not forget the Democrats' Chinese main plan here. Well, that was to drive the cost of gasoline so high that nobody could afford it, push everybody into electric vehicles. And prior to that big discovery of the lithium right around the area where the Hurricane Helene flood wiped out a lot of the map, took houses away, just destroyed, decimated that community. Almost like we need to cleanse it before we go harvest all this stuff. A lot of people are wondering that, and they were talking about it at the time. If you watch our Hurricane Helene Help on the Way documentary, I believe we had people talking about that. We would not have voted for Kamala because, by the way, that $5 gallon of gas would have went 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 50. Impossible to drive. Because the Democrats, the deep state, for some reason, were on a suicide pact to destroy the economy, destroy vehicles, destroy gasoline, and try to push everybody into some robot car. We're not doing it. That can be an option over there, fine. But it doesn't mean that's going to be the only option. And these kill switches, that ain't it either. We got to immediately remove that. Gotta remove that. The kill switch provision. Anyway, just the long-term trajectory with Venezuela opening up, with Maduro being arrested for criminal activity, being called the installed leader, not a actual leader, just a narco-terrorist who seized control of the country, to then commandeer the world energy supply. I think these things will long-term, short-term and medium-term, maybe not short-term, obviously, because we're in like short. We're in snapshot frame. But if you snap out from a photograph of 1 exact millisecond and get to a couple of seconds, I don't think it's going to take too long. The Gulf of America is cranking out oil to everybody. Venezuela is back on the board. Iran is being sorted out. Alternative pathways are delivering oil, bypassing the Strait of Hormuz because it's such a mess. And if there's one thing we learned during COVID, it's that your supply chain is critical. So we should probably have backups to the backups. We shouldn't have all of our pharmaceutical production being overseas. It needs to be internal. It needs to be inside America. But to do that, you got to put tariffs on the cheap shit that they're making with slave labor and lower quality, and you bring some of those jobs home. You tariff their stuff. You can't undercut our own manufacturing. We're not going to become dependent on you, but it happened. We hopefully learned some of these lessons during COVID. I fear that we don't remember enough of these lessons, which is why you should never vote Democrat anywhere ever again. not an endorsement of the Republican Party. However, they are the biggest objection to the Democrat plan. So yeah, you support the Republicans easily. It should be a red tsunami in these midterms, especially since the Louisiana case said, hey, Democrats, you've been barking up this constant dog whistles of racism for 70 years, 60 years, constantly dividing this country by race. We want good people in our communities that act good and decent. We don't want criminal activity. We don't want people abusing innocent people. Doesn't matter what you look like, where you came from. That's America. The Democrats have said, well, if we change the demographics, we'll get more Democrat voters. We have to attack the whites. It's weird to say out loud, but that has been their plan. Joe Biden with a grinning, shit-eating grin wearing Alejandro Mayorkas. Joe Biden really excitedly talking about the American Anglo, Americans of European descent. They're not going to be the primary demographic in America real soon, and that's a good thing. And that's a good thing. Huh? Focusing on demographic is not a good thing. Focusing on results, expectations, production, that's useful to a civil society, but the Democrats have been off the reservation for a long time in that regard. And that's where we find ourselves today, trying to deal with a party that only has one trick in their playbook. It's let's try to turn every event into a catastrophic, racist pushback against Trump, a pushback against Republicans, a pushback against MAGA, a pushback against white people, a pushback against men, a pushback against straight people, a pushback against Christians, a pushback against whatever, conservatives, libertarians, the GOP. And that's a Venn diagram. They don't all line up completely, and it's a bit convoluted there. But the Democrats for far too long have been operating on one operating protocol, and it's very destructive. It's toxic. It's a cancer to this country. It is an incessant focus on ginned up fake race crises. You saw it with the SPLC funding the KKK. Let's see how that indictment turns out. You've seen it with the Black Lives Matter riots all across the country during the Summer of Love 2020. Countless lives lost. I lost track of the hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars of damage or billions of dollars. And by the way, that totally wrecks your city's budgets with your police and the overtime and all of that. Instead of working to make the country and the community better, they focus on division because they want to burn it all down. They being the Democrats, they being the deep state Democrats and RINOs, they want to burn it all down and govern over the ashes. So, point being, let's see how it plays out. I think on the midterm to long-term level, there will be more energy launching across the globe. It will drive prices down, and we got to get them down here as quick as you can. But don't for a second say, look, I'm out on Trump. I didn't vote for this. You did not vote for Kamala Harris. You would not trade cheap gas because, by the way, they would have just slapped a shitload of prohibitions on gas and drilling and refineries. By the way, we need more refineries in this country. We need to be able to manage our own business from inside of our own fence line. That's been the problem here for far too long, since the 90s and the New World Order. Wouldn't be prudent to go another direction. Saddam. Called him Saddam. This whole push and under I did not create NATO for any other reason than to weaken America. And we sold visits, conjugal visits even, to the White House. Myself and Hillary. We enriched ourselves with the Clinton Global Initiative, but we also weakened America with NATO. They've been taking advantage of us for a long time. But we benefited. We left that mess for the next guy. Yeah, and you also took the W's off of all of your keyboards at the White House because of W. Remember that? That was fun. Hello over on Rumble. Patriot Warrior over there. Oh, yeah, buckle up. Buckle up, Buttercup. I got to remember my catchphrases. I'll work harder to remember my catchphrases. Anyway, gas would not be better with those guys in there. Now, maybe if they're capitulating to Iran and they're just letting everything stay as is. And remember, it was revealed that they have intercontinental ballistic missiles that expanded the blast zone around Iran quite significantly. We learned that during the conflict. Long term, midterm to long term, if not short term, gas under the Democrats would have been an absolute train wreck. People would be dreaming of $4 gallon gas, $5 gallon gas, because they've been all about that. My time in the United States Senate, I created the internet. Did you, Al Gore? And look at this hockey puck. Global warming. Oh, really, Al Gore? Pushing that climate hoax? Here we go. What am I going to say? In order to stay compliant with YouTube, Google, Facebook, Instagram, Meta, I must tell you, for countervailing views on health, elections, or climate change, global warming, and ice age, and every other catastrophic scenario you could imagine, go to cdc.gov, who.int, and visit cisa.gov/rumor control, because there's a lot of money in the climate scheme. Go get countervailing views. Oh, yeah, we've had videos deleted off of YouTube because there was people talking about weather manipulation and all sorts of stuff. What happened to being able to discuss whatever you feel like discussing? I thought this was America. Well, go get your countervailing views. All right, what else? The Babylon Bee put out an article, says, here's why that both sides political violence talking point is completely untrue. The both sides political violence talking point completely untrue. Do a deep dive. It is. Terrence Williams says Brian Harpel, who served as head of security for Charlie Kirk, has filed a federal defamation lawsuit against Candace Owens, her companies, and Mitch Snow. Haven't confirmed that, but Terrence is saying that. Look into that. You know, this is an interesting take.
If alcohol were really to be almost gone, it was not an industry anymore.
If alcohol is not an industry anymore, what would that mean? This is Jason Alexander on some podcast, but it was interesting having been a bartender for so long and hearing stories about how let me just let him talk. Let's get their conversation. Make sure I don't repeat any of it.
More. Are we better off? Are we worse? You know, I think of things like, I'm not a drinker, so I go, if alcohol was not a thing, I wouldn't miss it. But it is such an ingrained part of our culture, celebrations, christenings. Am I happy about this? Am I sad about this? I don't know quite how to feel.
A little bit of both, maybe.
Part of me goes, oh, we're moving towards a healthier society. Isn't that a great thing?
I mean, but here's the thing. I talked with Izzy about this. You know, and it's like, yeah, kids aren't drinking alcohol like they used to. It's like, good. They're going like straight edge. No. They're popping pills and fentanyl and heroin and no. There's plenty of other things. A lot of weed, a lot of vapes. Yeah, getting away from alcohol for sure.
Another part of me goes, but you know, look at all the things we lose out of our human experience.
There was recently a story in the New York Times about these nightclubs in Brooklyn that were.
Yeah, this is the one. The nightclubs in Brooklyn that are packed. But I didn't want to say this twice.
Were packed on weekends, but there was nobody drinking to the point where their economics didn't work. The club was filled, but then people didn't drink.
The door charge wasn't going to cover it.
Yeah. Studio 54 was alive today, it'd be closed.
Right, it'd be Studio 21.
So I found that to be an interesting thought. What do you think? Because there are trends. Question of the day. I don't really want to phrase this as an agree or disagree, because you can't agree with Jason Alexander here, George from Seinfeld. Is American society a better society with vastly reduced numbers of alcohol consumption? Are we better or worse? Tell me in the chat. Question of the day, QOTD. Would America be better off with significantly lower rates of alcohol consumption? I see it from both sides. I do.
They orchestrate everything.
Jim Brewer saying they orchestrate everything. Wanted to share this one with you. I'm really liking Jim Brewer's career arc. He's really woken up, and I saw him in Nashville at the Bobby Kennedy rally comedy night. He's good. He's always good. But I mean, he's really digging deep on these stories now. That everything's orchestrated.
Everything. Protest, arguments, television, everything. It's all orchestrated. Let's orchestrate this fake new agenda.
Yep. You sit down in the script writing room, you clickety clack it all out. Now everybody's saying the word insurrection, insurrection, hey, insurrection. Huh? One of the president called for peaceful and patriotic protesting and definitely did not say take up arms and let's get everybody out of Congress. They're not going to steal our country. Let's go. And by the way, he was the sitting president at the time. You can't have an insurrection against yourself. But it's all orchestrated. The lying legacy media, academia, the deep state Democrat Party, the RINOs.
That's a new slogan about our bodies, a new thing to debate.
Yeah, here's the script. Read the script. Follow the script. It's called NPCs that go, yes, I will repeat that talking point. Everything is about an oligarch now. Never heard the word, can't spell it, never learned it. But yes, Trump is being held hostage by oligarchs. Okay.
It's like a nonstop radio show that needs a programmer to come go, hey, I thought it'd be great if we try.
There's a little too much music here. If we try this as a subject and we get the audience involved. Yeah, like being a producer. It's no different. Politics is the same thing, except for we believe them. We believe they're real. They orchestrate everything. I like that from Jim Brewer. Sky News says Iran has said it stopped a U.S. warship from entering the Strait of Hormuz. 2 missiles hit the warship near Jask Island after it ignored Iranian warnings, according to Iran's Fars news agency. Anomaly here saying, update. Central Command just put out a statement saying they're lying. Okay. Clay Travis here says, if you were born in America since roughly 1975, the old systemic racism that has existed in your life, let me read that again. If you were born in America since roughly 1975, the only systemic racism that has existed in your life is racial discrimination by the state and the feds in favor of minority groups. This governmental era of racism to cure racism is ending, and Democrats are losing their minds over it. Agree. David Bann chiming in from Canada. By the way, did you catch? I know you're a Buffalo Bills fan. Does that make you a Toronto Raptors fan as well? Look, the Raptors played really tough. Hats off to them. I was very surprised they played so well. Well-coached team. They had some injuries they're battling, but man, they they had defensive intensity and it kept the Cavs on the ropes. I mean, this was up until halftime. It was like the same field goal percentage, the same number of points scored. Everything was the same. This was an exact dogfight, even, and the Cavs dominated the second half. But it was funny. Much like in the Olympics where so many people were chanting USA with the men's hockey. Because the Raptors are from Toronto. The Cleveland Cavaliers arena was chanting, USA, 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 USA. Jared Allen saying, go home. I did find that pretty interesting. But yeah, Clay Travis, man, he's just laying it out there. 1975 on, it's just been a Democrat-driven racism. And it's stopping. And of course the Democrats are freaking because their playbook sucks. Their coaching strategy is terrible. It's, here, drink this poison at halftime. That's not going to help you in the second half. That's what it is. They have been poisoning the brains of a large segment of America to hate themselves, to hate this country, to hate their neighbors, to hate people that look different than them. No, that's a far cry. Well, Trump does that. No. Trump is saying we can't have an open border. In a hotel, do you have a reservation? All right, let me look you up. Okay. You can't advance unless you get a key card. You don't just get free reign of the hotel. You don't just go to the resort. You don't go to Disneyland. Pearl Jam. Oh, we're against ICE, and we can't have enforcement. Really? Because I think every concert you perform at requires a ticket for entrance, and they're checked. And we have watched countless innocent American after American after American after American get brutalized by people that should have never been here. People that are sneaking in and ended up taking jobs that should be going to Americans. Driving up the cost of housing all across the country. There's problems. No, to have a normal immigration system where you scan the ID at the door, you check the identities of who people are, you run the background check. No, you don't let dirtballs in to do dirtball stuff. You don't let idiots that slept through all their classes in high school go to college. And you certainly don't give them a free ride scholarship by stealing our tax dollars and just rolling it into the university curriculum, the agenda, the budget for the year. The yearly state budget for our state schools, we're giving free tuition at your expense because nothing is free. It's paid for by somebody. Yeah, we're going to take your money and give it to someone that didn't earn anything, doesn't contribute anything. In fact, disruptive students, violent students that are going to cause problems on campus. You don't want problems on campus. America's our campus. So you can't paint Trump. You can cherry pick 100 quotes. He's a stand-up comic. He stands up for himself. He can be blunt and brash. But the concept of knowing it's just like who knocks on your door. Are you going to open the door for everybody? Are you going to let anybody just walk into your house? Are you going to leave your doors wide open? It doesn't make sense to leave the doors to your house wide open, and it doesn't make sense to leave your country wide open, except the Democrat deep state and the RINOs had caravans of people swarming this country, a free-for-all. Somebody at the back of the club propped the door, and they brought party buses, and people streamed in. No. You kick those people out, and you kick the person out. You put them on a lifetime ban, the people that orchestrated that. David likes the Raptors, but all their players are American. Yeah, I know. That'll never get us that'll never stop us from getting into a good USA chant. I'm like, why are we chanting USA? Usually like at a speaking rally, like at a debate or a campaign speech, a stump speech or something, you get a protester, love not war, whatever they'll shriek about. I don't know. People around them will start chanting, USA, 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 to drown them out and kind of like get through the moment. Anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting. Todd Blanche says there's more to this Comey story.
Well, part of what the government would have to prove is intent. James Comey deleted the post the same day. And
about the 8647 post. He's been indicted again. Folks, this is not just about the 8647. There's a lot of information. Let's see how the grand conspiracy shakes out. Comey might be the first one to fall.
He wrote, quote, I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. It never occurred to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's almost unbelievable with the mafia work and such. Someone in Comey's position knows damn well, which is why you posted it. Don't piss on our leg and tell us it's raining. You didn't take that picture to drum up sales for your book, not knowing the reaction it would cause.
But I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down. How do you prove intent, Mr. Blanche, when Mr. Comey himself said he didn't understand that some people would look at that and think about violence?
Hey, on a plus, if you say America's not winning anymore because gas is high, we don't have to listen to Pam Bondi. And by the way, a lot of these cases that we were screaming for a year, 15, 16 months, 17, whatever we're on, it's taken 11 months in grand jury to get to this point. These are things Pam Bondi has been working on. And now she steps aside. I'm going to serve a term. I'm going to serve a 12-month term and I'm out. Dan Bongino, I'm going to serve a term. We're going to help gut this agency of all the traitors. And I'm going back. I'm making a lot of money over there. I don't need these headaches. I don't need constantly being accused of this, that, and the other. It's a lot. A lot of people might want to go in for a season and serve and then go back to their lives.
You prove intent like you always prove intent. You prove intent with witnesses. You prove intent with documents, with materials. So again, this is not just about a single Instagram post. This is about a body of evidence that the grand jury collected over the series of about 11 months. That evidence was presented to the grand jury. And it's not the government. It's not the Department of Justice. It's not Todd Blanche that returned an indictment against James Comey. It's a grand jury, part of the judicial process. And that this process has to be allowed to play out in the courts. It's not fair to Mr. Comey. It's certainly not fair to the prosecutors for us to be airing your view or my view of this indictment. It's something that will be presented in court at the time set by the judge.
It's sort of let it play out. Maybe so, maybe not. Well, Erica and Trump took Charlie out. Bibi Netanyahu took Charlie out. Have we even seen the trial? Whether we believe that person was the shooter or not? What is the actual evidence? A lot of this Epstein stuff. Well, he's in the files. He's in the what are you saying? What? Well, his name is like written a lot. In what? In the investigation? As they were both going to a lot of the same high-end events and he was trying to ensnare the same people. The same thing where Trump never going to the island or flying on the jet with him. Yeah, well, he was on the plane. So was Bobby Kennedy. But that doesn't mean what you think it means. You see, when you jet set like we do, we charter planes and we'll jump on other people's planes if it's going from Florida up to New England where I needed to go. It doesn't mean Jeffrey's up there with little underage people or anything. So, come on.
Let's delve a little deeper. Conservative legal scholar Jonathan Turley said, quote,
and by the way, rest in peace, Scott Adams. Honorary simultaneous sip to Scott Adams. 3, 2, 1, go. He respected the opinions in the work of Jonathan Turley immensely. So to hear this, it might give you a little bit of pause and go, well, if he's saying it, I mean.
This indictment is facially unconstitutional, absent some unknown new facts.
So are there any unknown new facts? There's the back door. There's the skeleton key. There's the caveat. I think there are plenty of facts that are not public yet.
Are you in fact saying that there are facts beyond this Instagram post that clearly establish an intent to threaten the president's life?
I've said repeatedly, this was an investigation that lasted 11 months. If the only facts that existed was the posting of the Instagram, obviously that wouldn't have taken 11 months. And so when Mr. Turley talks about whether it's facially unconstitutional, absent unknown facts or circumstances, we will necessarily have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt at trial every element of this crime, which we're prepared to do.
Well, part of what the government would have to prove is intent.
All right. So there's that. This is why you should follow our Facebook group, the TNAM's The Agree to Disagree Show. Congressman Randy Fine says this: Armenians should not serve in Congress. All right, moving on. No, there's more to it. Armenians should not serve in Congress. Neither should Somalis or Guatemalans or, wait for it, Israelis. If you are a citizen of a foreign country, you shouldn't serve in ours. We need to pass my bill to stop the invasion of dual citizens in Congress, and do it now. So let me ask you a question of the day. Do you agree or disagree with Congressman Randy Fine that we need to pass his bill to stop the invasion of dual citizens serving in Congress? Tell me in comment. Tell me in chat. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with a friend, please. President Trump recently posted, so ironic that crying Chuck Schumer and the Democrats are hiring sleazebags like Barack Hussein Obama's crooked former Attorney General Eric Holder and others of that ilk to look into voter integrity when the same group of human garbage rigged the 2020 presidential election. Get tough, Republicans. They're coming, and they're coming fast. They're no good for our country. They almost destroyed it, and we don't want to let that happen again. These are highly dishonest people who are in many ways treasonous in that they are trying to destabilize the United States of America in what some would call a war. Republicans must terminate the filibuster and approve all of the necessary safeguards we need for elections to protect the American public during the upcoming midterms. Make America Great Again, President Donald J. Trump. Spirit Airlines goes out of business after 34 years. And this guy here, he responded back to my comment. But here's a daily reminder. If you stay silent in this war between good versus evil, your life might be easier, but your children's won't. But your children's won't. Something important to remember. All right. Let's bounce over to our Instagram feed. On the question of dual citizenship, Lake Leon agrees. David Bann agrees. Minute Balls. Oh, that is a great channel name. A play on Minute Bull and his son Bol Bol. Marion says, yes, I agree. No dual citizenship serving. All right, Minute Balls. Subscribe to the show. Hit the notification bell. Welcome. We meet at noon and we talk about the news and we have fun. We put our chat is lively and I incorporate your comments into the show. This is our Instagram feed. We have stories over here, so let's see it. Did you get a load of this one? Rolling Stone moved Eric Clapton down from the top 10 of greatest guitar players of all time to 35 because he admitted to being COVID vaccine injured and refused to discriminate on entry to his concerts based on vaccine status. And they air quoted vaccine status. They even admit the reasoning in the explanation. These days, nobody really considers Clapton God. His comments, nobody really considers Clapton God. And they lowercased God. Man, Rolling Stone is garbage. His COVID comments clearly rule out any chance of being all-knowing. Well, that doesn't stop guitarists from worshiping this player. Yeah, Rolling Stone is garbage. Rolling Stone became a joke years ago. They put out a murdering jihadist on the cover. That's how lost, leftist, and anti-American they are now. They put this guy on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine like he should be worshipped or idolized. Not the victims of the Boston Marathon bombing. They call him a popular, promising student. They say he was failed by his family. But he fell into radical Islam, not Islam. It's interesting they put that disclaimer there. And then he became a monster. Okay, well, that's really this is like the photo shoot you'd expect from like a Jim Morrison. Trying to get the teeny boppers hot and bothered. That's Rolling Stone for you. Oh, Clapton's also pro-Palestine. Oh. trying to do the math in that one in my head. Calamero says the editor-in-chief of Rolling Stone is Shirley Halperin, a Zionist Jew born in Israel. Calamero says, I don't know if that's accurate. I'm just rolling through this script here. Just a Pop says, hey, this should move him to the top. Rock and roll was based on anti-establishment thinking and behavior. Sadly, most have forgotten their roots and have become shills for the establishment. Clapton remains true to the essence of rock and roll. Stick it to the man. On Bill Maher, even though President Trump went at him, basically saying the first thing he did when he got to the White House was, he asked, can I have a drink? Trump, a teetotaler. It's like, what do you want? Like, yeah, he sits and has beverages. He does his show. He has beverages. You're in the White House. Have a beverage. Give me a bourbon on the rocks, please. Anyway, Bill Maher has been pretty good trying to dial back some of the ridiculous, violent rhetoric of the left, and I appreciate that.
One brief additional point, which is that the left, including the hard left, has to learn how to speak about Trump without immediately equating him to Hitler.
I just said that, yes.
You can be bad and not
stole your line.
You can be bad and not Hitler. You can be wrong. You can be a worrying president. At the same time, well, now I'm repeating you. The best way to do it is to argue your case.
Yeah. Once you start with Hitler, it's like anytime you do, we've seen it in many places in the world where they.
There's nowhere to go when you start with the worst of the worst. And then when you cry wolf a million times, I mean, we've had 5 years of the Trump presidency. He's literally disappearing people. They're undergoing immigration enforcement for the millions of people who invaded this nation with the help of the RINOs and the deep state Democrats. The ticket taker on the train is just, you have a ticket? Nope, you got to go. Disney, the bouncers, you don't have your wristband, you got to go. I don't know how you got in here, but you got to go. I don't want to see anyone roughed up, but if you had the people who were being removed from the club start fighting the bouncers, like you saw in Minneapolis, it's not going to end well. It's a very bad idea. I've told this story a couple times before. Was I underage? Doing the math, I might have been a month or two under the age of 21. I might have been. And I went on spring break to Charlotte. Went to Bar Charlotte. And was in the restroom. And I was very focused on my band and playing music. Trying to put the years together. Maybe I was just 21. It was either 20 or 21 or 22. I'm trying to think when it was. Point is, I had my Sharpie. And I was in the bathroom. And I was at the urinal. And people had written on the walls. So I grabbed the Sharpie and I started writing. Put my band name up there in Charlotte. And a bouncer walks in. And he goes, hey, man. Big dude. He goes, hey, man, what are you doing? And I put the pen away. I go, I'm sorry. I apologize. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. I won't. I'm sorry. I won't do that. I put my band name up there. It's gone. I won't do that again. I apologize. I'm sorry. Guy's like, I better not catch you doing anything like that again. And he left. I was like, whew. Whereas I was at a different bar in my college town, and there was a line to use the restroom. And so while the two urinals and the two stalls were occupied, somebody walked in and there was nowhere to go. So he unzipped and started peeing in the sink. And a couple people pointed it out, like, that's hilarious. I wish I would have done that. I shouldn't have waited either. Bouncer walks in. He goes, "What in the world are you doing?" He goes, "What does it look like I'm doing?" Started giving him grief like, "I'm taking a piss because the line was too long. I'm doing whatever I want. Blah, 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 blah. Who are you to tell? Get out of it." He barely had time to put it back in and zip up. Bouncer grabbed him, smashed him into the door, opened the door, smashed him into the next door, opened it up, and tossed him into the snow through that door. So sometimes you just, it makes sense to just say, "Hey, I'm sorry. All right. You're right. You're right. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I won't do that again." It just diffuses situations. Anyway.
Make someone into, whether it's Rwanda or what, the Hutus saying the Tutsi were vermin, or the Hutu, somebody was vermin, I remember.
The Tutsis were vermin.
Whatever it was. And then the next, whenever you dehumanize someone to that degree, people go, "Oh, I'm a hero." This guy wasn't crazy. Like, he wasn't hearing, the dog wasn't talking to him and the moon. He just was like watching, the
social media. Yeah.
Well, the more virtuous you think
and
you are,
media.
Media, yes.
The more virtuous you think you are, the more you have permission to behave diabolically.
The more virtuous you think you are, the more permission you have to behave diabolically. What's up, Supercell? Yeah, I remembered that name, but I couldn't remember why I remembered it. Yeah, Supercell was on with us. He jumps on for the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. He has these, by the way. I think Sal has coasters and a pin. If you want merch, let me know. I'll get some out to you. Super Sal, yeah. Big day for the Cavaliers. Super excited. Excited for the Browns, too. I think we had another great draft.
One brief additional point, which is that
I think it reset there.
The left, including the hard left, has to learn how to speak about Trump without immediately equating him to Hitler.
I just said that.
There we go. All right. Okay. Talking about Spirit Airlines. This is hilarious.
Listen, hear me out for 1 second. Spirit Halloween Stores has a chance to do the funniest thing. The brand recognition is already mostly there. You just have to paint the airplane from yellow to orange, which is yellow adjacent. Now that $84 flight from Tallahassee to Vegas can go from being unintentionally scary to intentionally scary.
Unintentionally scary to super scary. Oh, that's good. I was reading that Spirit didn't have any crashes in their company's history. I don't know if that's accurate, but I heard that. Does anyone know if that's confirmed? Every flight went up and came down successfully. Zero crashes in the entire history. I've flown on many a Spirit Airlines.
Okay, listen.
But I think that'd be funny. Just switch the name. That's like switching the name from Indians to Guardians. You can keep the last couple letters, and maybe people won't remember what history was. Like in 1984, all those dystopian imaginings where realities changed on a moment-by-moment basis. Who's this? SGRSTK. K Creek. I don't know who this is. He says, "I'm not saying I'd ever join or start a cult, but living off-grid with a bunch of animals and like-minded individuals seems like a good way out of whatever the hell this is." And for that, I gave him a follow. Lake Leon says, "Make them deportation airlines." Oh. I'm listening. Because I think part of the, I don't know if it was DHS or, there's so many overlapping agencies, Department of Homeland Security or Immigrations, ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement. My understanding is that with the big, beautiful bill, they were going to be purchasing more planes to speed this up. Just, you guys all snuck in, you got to go. We're going to even drop you off. By the way, the CBP Home app, I believe, will still take you there and even pay some expenses to facilitate it happening. You snuck in, you got to go. Lights are on, everybody out. That's not mean or malicious. That's fair. All right, but I like that one. Okay, so new fear unlocked. Speaking about flights, oh my lord. United Airlines Boeing 7, is that a 5 or 6? 67 struck a bakery truck while landing at Newark Airport. Watch this. I love that he's singing. Like every TV show or every movie, you'd be like, da da ba da 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 boom. Like that's exactly how someone's in the shower when a boom. That's when the comet hits and rattles you to your core. He's literally singing, hanging out, just driving down the road, not doing anyone no harm.
Holy fuck. Oh my goodness.
Truly a miracle that no one was killed. The driver suffered minor scratches. Thank God.
He hit that. Look, you see all that wind? Oh my goodness.
Can't play the Eagles without getting a copyright strike. And then the music stopped. Could you imagine landing and all of a sudden you have that explode? And what hit it? It wasn't because the lowest part of the airplane would be the landing gear. Wouldn't that have been deployed at this point? Wouldn't it have broken off and caused a crash as it landed? Mike, that's the crazy video.
Holy fuck. Oh.
Dude, this is not insignificant that dude was alive. Fact, Spirit has the most flights at Hartford-Jackson Airport. Yeah, and I don't think they ever crashed. I read that, and that could be inaccurate, but I believe that's true. It always took me where I was trying to go. Was it the most comfortable? Was it the best? I mean, no. But when you're trying to, live life, you can either live exorbitantly, which puts a massive financial strain on things, or you can live within your means. So yeah, a lot of my flights over the past many years were Spirit flights. Manu Balls says they're sending the illegal aliens back home and giving them $1,000. I mean, it's a lot of dinero, don't you know? Hodge Twins put this out and says Nick Shirley exposes massive voter fraud in one home. 108 people registered to vote. A woman registered her 2 dogs and they voted. Another dead woman voted 4 times. This is why we need the Save America Act passed now. Election integrity is on life support. Is that accurate? Okay. Manu Balls, I got to address this. He said fight, not flight. I didn't notice you did that. He said facts. Spirit has the most fights at the Hartford-Jackson Airport. It probably also has the most fights at Hartford-Jackson Airport. Mary never flew Spirit. I mean, it got the job done. Point A to point B mobile. I've ridden in a lot of wonky cars, and it's gotten me around. So Hodge Twins reporting this. Will anything ever be done? By the way, Spencer Pratt, some are saying, is now in the lead for California mayor. Los Angeles mayor. They're also having the California governor race. 2 Republicans are right in the thick of that, by the way. And Spencer Pratt said he already has his team together to look into all the fraud, to rain down indictments. He needs to be very, very careful, because there is a lot of mob criminality from the Democrats in California. They have been very arrogant, brash, sloppy, and reckless. Treasonous, some would say. So we'll have to look and see if this is all accurate and if it's true. But Hodge Twins are reporting that Nick Shirley has exposed this. Well, this is in the running for meme of the day. And then there's the comments. Elizabeth Warren has been widely criticized, along with the Biden administration, the other high-ranking Democrats, Pete Buttigieg, and others. I think Mayorkas was a big factor in this. JetBlue tried a JetBlue holiday. JetBlue tried to acquire Spirit and Elizabeth Warren crushed the merger. Spirit's undergone like 2 bankruptcy allocations and they haven't been able to survive. But that's what the Democrats do. They said, "Oh, it's going to be a monopoly if we let these 2 merge, it would have been like 9%." Okay. So that's a monopoly? No, it's not. That'll increase fares. No. For the 17,000 people that are now unemployed and all those flights are gone, what's that going to do to fares? Price going up. Democrats they're okay at identifying things that are like concerning to people, but then their solutions are awful. It used to be widely known and accepted, this axiom. Democrats are the party of terrible ideas, and the Republicans are the party of no ideas. So yeah, Elizabeth Warren is getting dragged for taking Spirit Airlines out. This is from Austin Peterson. You can see my interviews with Austin Peterson. Met him on a couple occasions. We've had good chats. Libertarian voice. This comment, this photo, HH says this photo is, HH134 says this photo is highly offensive. The 2 scenarios are not the same. Elizabeth Warren purposely killed Spirit Airlines while Officer Derek Chauvin had nothing to do with George Floyd dying from an overdose of fentanyl that he chose to take. That's a lot on a Monday morning. Share the memes if you are intrigued. You know this one. Guy meets girl out at a location. Guy talks to girl. Guy says, "Can I buy you JetBlue?" "Sure." Oh, no, I'm sorry. JetBlue says, "Can I buy you?" Spirit says, "Sure." And then the bloated tank comes in. "She's not interested." The 1024th Indian, as Lake Leon points out, Elizabeth Warren. Congratulations on your commie crap. And we'll see what happens. I'm very curious to see the next stage. They have people that want to be working these jobs. They have the airlines. They have the hubs. They have everything set up. Is there somebody that can come in and purchase this? And I was reading that the Trump administration tried a last-ditch effort to try to salvage it, but not quite do a bailout, and it was unable to succeed. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Spirit. I don't think it's going to be done, but we'll see. Babylon B cheekily says, Spirit Airlines announces they will tell you why they went bankrupt for an added fee of $50. Gotta love it. Spirit Airlines announces they will tell you why they went bankrupt for an added fee of $50. That is so on brand. All right. Catch up feed. I don't know what this is. What's this person's name? Ala Stanford. Let me make sure it's in other places. I'm going to do a quick look on this one. What is it? Dr. Ala. Did I spell the last name right? Ala Stanford. Yeah, this does seem to be legit. Blue Lives Matter put this out. Yeah, it's a conversation with NBC. All right, I will play this. Something about the site just, it had me it was giving me AI vibes. No, not Allen Iverson vibes. artificial intelligence vibes. But here you go. This is fantastic. This is a Pennsylvania congressional candidate malfunctions during an interview after being asked a simple question about her platform.
You also said you're running to abolish ICE. This is something that we've heard other Democrats and activists talk about. From an immigration enforcement perspective, who do you think should be in charge of enforcing immigration laws?
That's a good question.
I don't know. Coast Guard? Dad, if you're the police, who will police the police? I don't know. Coast Guard? That's a Simpsons classic. She's looking up like, I don't know. I don't know how to answer this very simple question about my platform.
And you can pause because I just want to think about it for a minute. Go ahead.
We need to continue, though.
Okay.
She say, and you can pause, or you need to pause, and you can pause while I think about it. And she's like, yeah, we're staying live. We need to continue, though.
Who do I think should be in charge of enforcing immigration laws?
I don't know, the Marines? I don't know, IRS? Who's going to be?
Not the executive branch, so not the president. So it belongs with Congress. It belongs with Congress.
You also
Oh, boy. I want to see that one.
said you're running to abolish ICE. This is something that we've heard other Democrats and activists talk about. From an immigration
The comments. Does she also believe we're on the brink of World War XII?
enforcement perspective,
This is the educated left. This is your doctor.
who do you think should be in charge of enforcing immigration laws?
That's a good question. And you can pause because I just want to think about it.
And you can pause. No, we're not doing that. You don't just dictate terms. No, that's a new one. We're not doing that. Go. Continue.
Go ahead.
We need to continue, though.
Okay.
All right. That was a gem. This should be my moment of zen. I should circle back and make this the final. Nah, it's all right. We were just talking about airlines. Once they realize they're about to absorb all of the Spirit Airlines customers.
Do not come. 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 Do not come.
Yeah, there's border czar Kamala Harris. I believe that was her talking about illegal alien invaders swarming the country, breaking in, storming the gate, staging their prepositioned grounds for sleeper cells, Manchurian candidates to activate an invading army, prepositioned across our country in strategic locations, as if awaiting an order, a switch, a text message, a command. Cool. Kamala Harris, border czar, that would go to the border, but not the border that's the problem. Border czar. Using heavy machinery to lift the razor wire so an invading army of unvetted people from parts unknown and intentions unknown could filter into this country. But she's saying don't come.
Do not come. Do not come.
I love that one. Push. Yeah, I'll follow it. Spirit Airlines ceased operations, shutting down effective May 2 after 34 years in business. The ultra-low-cost carrier, known for its bright yellow planes, no-frills service, and a la carte fees, announced orderly wind-down after failing to secure a financial lifeline, including a reported $500 million government bailout. All flights canceled, customer service no longer available, guests advised not to go to the airport. Oh, that's a mess. That is an absolute mess. Not good. You hate to see it. You just wonder what was so wrong with the merger that they couldn't have done it that way. You know, I tell you often about the satire site The Onion, how they had a gag. And it was that they did a poll about public transportation. It said like 97% of Los Angeles residents want everyone else to take public transportation. It's so good. Almost everybody wants almost everyone else to do something that they're not going to do. Chef's kiss. Just so telling. Anyway, they'll be moving to Frontier Airlines. In memory of Spirit Airlines, we played you this clip not too long ago. This lady was fed up.
Go suck another dirty dick.
Gotta mute it. Yep, chucking all the luggage. Yep, screw that luggage. Fighting going on at Spirit, and some fighting going on at Spirit.
You dirty bitch. Yes, you are.
Oh boy. Patron. Fighting at the airport. Good times. All right, that was pretty good. All right, I haven't watched this one yet. End Wokeness says this is 100% real footage, maybe. This lady goes into a gas station. Here's how it goes.
This is a robbery. Okay.
Put it down.
Okay. There's a robbery.
Down.
I'm telling you right now that there's a robbery.
What robbery? Oh my! What are you doing?
What?
What are you doing? The owner in the back room.
This is the strangest robbery I've ever seen.
The robbery.
Yeah, the owner in the back room.
Take off your hood so we can all see your face a little bit more clearly. Come on, is this real?
The owner in the back room, run!
Oh my gosh. What is this? She put the gun down when he told her to put the gun down. He could have lunged for it at that point. Whew. Oh, nutty. Be ready. Your next trip to the convenience store could be a little less convenient. Be advised. All right, let's move over to X and check out our account over here. Make sure you're following the New American Media on X at American_media_. X is a great platform. We need to grow. Please share our content on there. Sal, are you on X? Are you following us on X? Yeah, everybody share our shows on X when they drop. Usually right as we're putting the show together, we'll share yesterday's show, and then we share today's show as we're putting the show together at American_media_. David saying, what do you guys think about the debt clock? Have we looked at it lately? Isn't it Thomas Massey? Where's the ticker? Where are we at? 37 trillion, 38 trillion? To who? Who owes this money to who? It sounds like that's somebody else's problem. I didn't sign up for that. But yeah, good point. I mean, just that debt clock. If there's not a revaluation, and they've been suspiciously quiet about gold, have they not? suspiciously quiet about gold in Fort Knox. They came in guns a-blazing on Fort Knox. And then what? Nothing. For a year. It's an ongoing conspiracy theory that there's no gold in Fort Knox. It was looted. I think it's tungsten. Not copper. I think it's tungsten. Cobalt. What is it? What metal weighs almost the same as gold, often used in counterfeit bars? Tungsten? Yes. It gave me an answer that's just like a Seinfeld episode. Kramer got like bonked on the head, and he goes like super savant, and he knows everything. He's a genius. He's answering all the trivia questions. Or he's having seizures to like Mary Hart's voice. I'm trying to remember what this exact episode was. Who is Yo-Yo Ma? He blurts out, who is Yo-Yo Ma? Maybe it was George when he went celibate. One of the characters looks over like at the TV and says, what is tungsten or wolfram? Wolfram is like a secondary term for tungsten. And yes, 19.32 grams per whatever, and tungsten is 19.25. So extremely close, within 0.4%. Tungsten core weighs almost exactly the same as real gold bar, the same size. Counterfeiters commonly drill out real gold bars and insert tungsten cores, plate tungsten in a thin layer of real gold, or cast entirely tungsten bars with gold plating. So yeah, I wonder what's going on with our gold. Kenneth in the house. What's up, Kenneth? Happy to have you. He's been clock blocked. Well, you came through, Kenneth. Glad to have you here. Pull up a bar. Pull up a bar. Pull up a chair. Belly on up to the bar. We're talking about all the things on the news. We're in the X segment right now. Of course, at the top of our X account is a link to our Patreon. If you guys want to set it and forget it and say, yeah, I got $5 or $10 a month, I can contribute to the New American Media. Patreon's a great way to do it. You set it, you forget it. And it's just every first of the month, like Bone Thugs and Harmony sang about. Wake up, wake up, wake up. It's the TNAM the month. Not time of, TNAM the month. Yeah, it's like a Lego block is delivered. Then you can build a house with all those Lego blocks. The more subscribers, we know what we can count on month to month, because it's sporadic on the other sites, the Rumble rants and the super chats. Sometimes one side is up, sometimes one other's down. It's just, it's a little more fluid. It's nice to have the building blocks, and that's how you do it right there. Patreon, it's pinned at the top of our X account, the New American Media site on Patreon. Tim Poole says, I can't believe it. I'm finally done. Democrats have finally gone too far. For the first time in my life, I'm voting Republican. That feels somewhat significant. This Alice Stanford was the first African-American female pediatric surgeon trained entirely in the United States. Known for founding the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium. What do you need to be a black doctor for? Rachel says she has a sick and creepy obsession with AIPAC. AIPAC-funded candidate for Pennsylvania 03 freezes during candidate forum when pressed to say genocide. After answering a story about COVID-19, this is a 4-minute clip, I'm not going to play it. I can say genocide if you'd like me to say it. For those who've been a victim of genocide, whose families are still suffering, it's hurtful for them. For Israelis accused of committing it, it's hurtful for them. All I've done is given. It's selfless. This is an odd character. Drop Site News confirms 314 Action Fund, the political action committee backing Stanford, received $500K from the Kimbark Foundation, a shell company used by AIPAC to obscure funds, they claim. In an open primary. Sharif Street and Chris Rabb. Current polls show this Stanford with a 5-point lead, election May 19th. Okay. And there she is. That's the clip. All right. Sony has settled, according to Pirate Nation. This story is going everywhere. Sony settles a $7.85 million antitrust lawsuit over PlayStation digital game sales. Eligible users in the U.S. will get credits in their accounts. The class action claimed that Sony blocked third-party retailers from selling digital download vouchers for PlayStation games starting in 2019, 7 years ago. This allegedly let Sony control the market and charge higher prices on the PlayStation Store. As part of the settlement, eligible U.S. customers receive credits in their PS network accounts. These credits can be used to buy games and other content and covers around 4.4 million users who bought certain digital games on the PlayStation Store between April 2019 and December 2023. Sony did not admit any wrongdoing. And the court gives preliminary approval to the settlement April 2026. Yeah, this whole thing that they're doing to make all content in the cloud or it's digital, that's no bueno. That's not good. You want your copies of your content. You don't want a car that can be taken away from you if somebody judges you can't operate it for some reason. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Hal. I can't turn this vehicle on. I need to go. Go now. Go now. I'm going to be late. I'm sorry, Hal. We cannot allow you to operate this vehicle. Let's just pull up my content that I have in a cloud somewhere. Oh, it's not there. Oh, that company went bankrupt. Oh, I'm in the disfavored group of people that aren't allowed to access anything for political weaponization. You saw it with the Democrats exclusively for the past 5 years. Maybe not exclusively, but like intensely. So what is this? Booblick says, B PlayStation. Exist only because Nintendo backstabbed Sony in 1991. PS1, the first $100 million. PS1 was the first 100 million console ever. You're welcome. PS2, 158 million sold. It's still the GOAT. U.S. military, 1,760 PS3s linked into a supercomputer cheaper than real hardware. PS3, 599. Work more hours to afford it. PSN 2011, 77 million accounts were hacked. Plain text passwords. E3 2013 made Xbox look like a war crime with one video. PS4, 1 million units on day one. 2026 PS5 now $650, no warning. Hidden DRM on all digital games. What is DRM? Is that where you lose it? Digital rights. Temporary 30-day license in the game details. A one-time online check to verify purchase to convert to a permanent license. Digital DRM is a license verification system. PS4 and PS5 games. Jamie, what does it stand for, though? Digital rights management. I think I said that. Digital. I think I was getting hung up on management. UK users, face or passport or no voice chat. In the UK, if you don't provide your face or passport, you can't use the voice chat. That's the totalitarian stuff that Kamala Harris was pushing over here. Joe Biden in his third Obama term. 3 scandals, 1 month, same PR statement. The console born from betrayal is starting to look a lot like the one that betrayed it. All right. It is Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. May 4th is the Jedi holiday. Some of us have to work today. That's clever. Remember, May 4th, that's a Jedi holiday. Some of us have to actually work today. Judy Anna says, you can tell you were raised Catholic when you hear, May the 4th be with you. And you respond, and also with you. That is funny. Trump Skywalker, may the 4th be with you. Huge. I'm your president. I mean, father. May the 4th be with you, patriots. You know, AI art is fun. Dapper Detective gives us this report. A Phoenix family suing the city for security failures. You know why? Because they didn't check the people coming into America. Illegal alien from Liberia, an invader, ruined their family.
Tonight, a Phoenix family says they plan to sue the city of Phoenix, Maricopa County, the Washington Elementary School District, and several employees after a 10-year-old girl was sexually assaulted at Orangewood Elementary last November. The claim says convicted sex offender Abel Gabla not only got onto campus, but was able to reach an unlocked classroom and assault the child. The family is demanding $40 million, saying the attack was preventable and that probation officials and school staff failed to stop the suspect.
Abel Kai Gabla. I'm sorry, Abel Kai Gabla. Or Abel K Gabla. Sounds like Gabla.
Who they say had a long history of violations and dangerous behavior.
Violations, dangerous behavior, illegal alien invader. Should have never harmed that kid. Should have never been here. Democrats did this. Don't vote Democrat. Get all of your friends and all of your family. Remind them of the primaries so the right people are put in the primaries. Hurry up, because all the primaries are coming. If you haven't missed them already, and get them out to the polls during the midterm season. The only thing it takes for evil to succeed in this world is for the good people to stand by and do nothing. May the fork be with you. I hope not. I am in a shedding plan right now and getting back on track. It has been a, you host company. I mean, I had Izzy here for a month and a half, and it was like every day dude wanted Dairy Queen. It's like with my cats. They always want the treats. With, I gave you breakfast. What now? Oh, you want more treats. Okay. Yeah, Izzy was not familiar with Dairy Queen, and he just got hooked on it every day. And so if I'm there, I get something. So I'm working on it. I hope may the fork not be with me. I can already see it in my face. Took off 7 pounds. A few more to go, but trending the right direction. May the fork be with you. Sherry Unfiltered here says the Senate GOP primary list has been activated. Every single one is an imposter. Everyone agree not one conservative votes for an F Liberty score. Reminder, I told you this before, pause it on this frame. Vote against Lisa Murkowski, Alaska, Susan Collins, Maine, Shelley Moore Capito, West Virginia, Lindsey Graham, South Carolina, John Cornyn, Texas, Chuck Grassley, Iowa, John Thune, South Dakota, Todd Young, Indiana, Tom Tillis, North Carolina, Mitch McConnell, Kentucky, Cindy Hyde-Smith, Mississippi, Bill Cassidy, Louisiana, Mike Round, South Dakota, Jerry Moran, Kansas, Deb Fisher, Nebraska, John Boozman, Arkansas. Now, the ones I know, Murkowski, Susan Collins, Lindsey Graham, John Cornyn, Chuck Grassley, John Thune, Tom Tillis, Mitch McConnell, Bill Cassidy, get rid of them. The others I'm not entirely sure of. But if they're getting F scores, they shouldn't be serving as fake Republicans. Let them run as Democrats. This LA woman has something to say about the state of the city I used to live in.
God, hearing Spencer Pratt being so passionate about being mayor. Listen, anything's better than Ken Bass. You know what I can tell you what I saw? I live in like a nicer side of town. I drove early morning after driving someone to the airport, came back home. 3 homeless people I saw defecating. Like, not even like privately defecating, pulling down their pants, butthole out to the street.
Some lady pushing shopping carts, rifling through the trash can, pulled her pants down and peed all over my big rosemary bush. Ugh. Some fat lady walked in between 2 cars right in front of my house, dropped her pants, defecated right there in between 2 cars. When you provide pictures and you call for help, These people need to be arrested. They need to be helped. The chronically homeless. It's not good for anyone in society anywhere that you just have a roving band of free-range junkies, mentally disabled. People need help. You haven't been helping them. I've witnessed this in Los Angeles, and it's shocking.
Defecating. So you know what?
This is not India and the Ganges River.
That's a real problem. I feel bad for them. You know, it's like, oh, where do they go? Well, they don't.
Yes, which is why you need to get these people off the streets and into a facility where they can be cared for. Our tax dollars should not be going to 90% of where it's going. But helping the mentally disabled, the physically disabled, and the drug addicted, yeah, that's a bare bones demand out of our governments. Get them off the streets, get them the help that they need.
Don't just pull your pants with your butthole to the street. So I'm voting for Spencer Pratt now.
Yeah, Spencer Pratt should win this in a landslide. If the Save America Act is passed, because I think these blue cities have a monopoly on rigging their tallies. I think they got a system down where they've signed up. James O'Keefe was in Los Angeles showing you how they're offering to pay people to sign them up. And they're harvesting these ballots and turning them in like they're legitimate. No, the whole voting system needs an enema, and these Democrats need to be put out to pasture. Anish Munka says GameStop just offered $56 billion to buy eBay. As I told you, you can follow Picking Winners Resale on eBay or on Whatnot or on YouTube. It's one of the ways that I generate income to keep the lights on. So if you want to go buy something in the store, please do. So this is a story that I'm very interested in. Happy poopy time. No, not very happy for the residents out there at all, dude. Not so much, Kenneth. I mean, it is startling when you see a grown adult defecating in the street. It's just like, I am living in an insane asylum. This shouldn't. What? Ooh. Anyway, back to eBay. I'm very invested in this. GameStop is only worth $11.9 billion. A company is trying to buy one nearly 5 times its size. The reason hides inside the CEO's $35 billion pay contract. Let's try to understand this. According to Anish Munka, GameStop is offering $125 a share for eBay, half cash and half new GameStop stock. All right, now it caught me there. eBay's stock crossed $104 on Friday, which means the $125 offer pays a roughly 20% premium over what eBay was actually trading for. GameStop quietly bought 5% of eBay before announcing the offer. The cash half of the offer is $28 billion. GameStop has $9 billion in the bank plus $368 million in Bitcoin that it bought in May of 25. TD Bank has agreed to lend another $20 billion. Add it up and you just barely cover the cash side. The other $28 billion comes as new GameStop shares, which alone would roughly triple the number of shares the company has out there. Even with all this, there could still be a gap. Investment funds owned by countries like Saudi Arabia or the UAE may step in to fill it. Cohen's contract explains why the bid is so big. In January 26, GameStop's board, remember all the stuff, all the controversy with GameStop stock. To hold it. The board approved a pay deal for Cohen worth $35 billion in stock, up to. He only gets it if he grows the company to $100 billion market value and delivers $10 billion in total profits along the way. He earns no salary at all. If he misses the target, he walks away with nothing. Even the first slice of that pay only kicks in once GameStop is worth $20 billion, nearly double its size today. Reaching that level by selling more video games would take decades. Buying eBay does it overnight. The combined company would be worth roughly $58 billion, putting Cohen more than halfway to the $100 billion target. eBay also brings $3.1 billion in quarterly revenue and 136 million active buyers. Cohen has done something like this before on a smaller scale. He started Chewy from scratch in 2011. 6 years later, he sold it to PetSmart. Is it Pet Smart or is it Pets Mart? Sold it for $3.35 billion, the largest online retail deal ever at that point. He has driven GameStop's value from $1.3 billion in 21 to about $12 billion today, close to a tenfold increase. If eBay's board rejects the offer, he has told the Wall Street Journal that he will skip the board entirely and take the bid straight to eBay's shareholders. So stay tuned. Someone here is connecting dots. I don't know what this is. Trump played the wild card post. I have all the cards, he says. I don't know who that is with the wild card. Oh, shit. Now here we go. I don't know who this guy is. But remember, power to the players. This is like Trump is Halo. I believe the White House posted that. Can you believe Trump posted that Halo thing on Halo Day? No, I know. Trump posing as a healing angelic figure bedside with a sick patient, a la Jesus on Easter. That might have been a little too much. Yeah, the White House and Trump, they always put out fan art. Ryan Cohen said Trump 2028. So this is right. Let's read this. I don't know what this is. Greg says, do you get it yet? GameStop. President Trump posted the wild card right before the eBay news got confirmed. Mega merger approved. Ryan Cohen's Trump 2028 post, the White House power to the player post. Roaring Kitty left a meme that had Trumpettes playing over and over. Uno wild cards? What a coincidence. All right, stay tuned. Just one more time, because this is the craziest stuff we'll ever do. How did that dude survive? I like him singing at the beginning. How did that guy survive? Yeah, halo and goodbye, Kenneth. This driver almost had to say halo and goodbye. Nuts. There's a shooting in Edmond, Oklahoma, multiple victims. 10 people hospitalized with gunshot wounds at a lake party in Oklahoma. Late night gathering near Arcadia Lake. No arrests made. Officials say currently no threat to public safety. All right. Stay safe out there. Spencer Pratt running for mayor. Take a listen. This is, I think, what I was telling you about.
And I already have set this up. The criminal investigation team of the IRS,
go.
week one as mayor. And I already have set this up. The criminal investigation team of the IRS, they're coming into City Hall. Every document that I can legally hand them as mayor, we are opening up cases on all these homeless NGOs that have been stealing our taxpayer money and increasing homelessness, not getting rid of it.
Yep.
So right there, I'm going to find the billions of dollars that the city should have to put into programs that make things more affordable, us have more safety and have a better life that's being stolen from us. So I already spoke with the IRS. They're all in on that. And we're just going to audit every dollar. Full transparency, accountability. I'm not going to be a mayor that ever lies to Angelinos because I know what it feels like being an Angelino, listening to a mayor lie and cover up.
I think Spencer Pratt's going to win this. And I have a special affinity with the city of Los Angeles. Yeah. Nice observation. Well, here, let me go back. There he is. That's Spencer Pratt wearing a hat. How about that? Nice catch. Let me ask Grok, what? just bullet points. What are the top lies in this book? Wilford Riley says, still top 10 historical study. Check it out. Are the mainstream media academic narratives surrounding slavery, white flight, Native American pacifism, hippies, the Red Square, and benefits of the sexual revolution for women at all real? Maybe not. Slavery was uniquely brutal and exclusive to the America and the West. That's a lie. Red Scare was a baseless moral panic with no real communists. Lie. Native Americans were peaceful, harmonious people living in nature until the invading white army just brought all this terrible stuff. That's a lie. They were definitely engaged in warfare, slavery, cannibalism, ecological disruption. He claims the noble savage stereotype is inaccurate and patronizing. Lie that hippies were heroes, the sexual revolution benefited women, and the Vietnam War was pointless and unpopular. European colonialism was an unmitigated disaster with no benefits. Lie, lie. Harmful in many ways, but it introduced infrastructure, medicine, technology, legal systems that had measurable positive long-term effects in some regions. The Three-Fifths Compromise was purely racist. No, it was pragmatic. It was a political deal to enable union formation and ultimately aided slavery's eventual abolition by counting enslaved people partially for representation, which took the power back from the southern states. The lie that white flight was racist and destroyed cities, driven by rising crime, taxes, and declining services in the 60s and 70s, feels like today. Data shows demographic shifts correlated with measurable urban problems that had nothing to do with race. Had to do with criminality and mismanagement. Lie that Southern strategy turned the South Republican via racism. That's a lie. The continuing oppression, 1619 style narratives defining modern Black American life. So that's what that book's about. Elon calls it a banger. I haven't read it, but lies my liberal teacher told me. Maybe I should get that for Izzy. So he's swimming with a bunch of dopes, consuming a lot of dopey content. And I'm like, dude, you gotta... you're going to become a combination of the 10 people you consume the most content from, and you're listening to dopes. Only do so much. They got to figure it out on their own. Check out our last show, K9 Dog detected the White House correspondent dinner shooter threat, Senate gridlock, and election fraud updates. Our most recent show besides this one. So we thought we had funding, ending the 76-day shutdown. Listen to Mike Johnson.
We got the budget resolution passed. This is very, very important because that will ensure that border security and immigration enforcement will continue today and well into the future, despite Democrat attempts to reopen our borders and protect criminal illegal aliens from removal. The net result of passing our reconciliation bill is that ICE and CBP are funded for 3 years, and Democrats got absolutely nothing for their political charade and shenanigans out of that.
Okay. But then this was reported today.
Congress is gone despite not funding ICE and Border Patrol. When will they get a deal done? I could answer that, but I'm teasing. Congress is...
Is it time to nuke the filibuster and never allow this to happen? Congress gone on recess while we wait for lawmakers to fully fund ICE and CBP, get the reconciliation bill to President Trump's desk ASAP. I thought that they did here. That was April 30th, and that was from today. So Mark Wayne Mullen on the 30th says after 76 days, the longest government shutdown in history is over. DHS back open, ICE Gov, CBP funded through reconciliation with no Democrat votes, so liberals can't play games with federal law enforcement funding. To be clear, this Democrat shutdown never should have happened. To our great patriotic employees who've continued to protect the homeland every single day without a guaranteed paycheck, thank you. President Trump and I are very grateful to be in the fight with you to make America safe again. Nancy Mace posted this, says, meet Judge Deandra Jefferson of South Carolina. She handed a child predator a one-day sentence for possessing nearly 1,900 images and videos of children being abused. He was facing 60 years in prison, and he served 24 hours. Judge Jefferson, according to Nancy Mace, this isn't her official account, though, but it's 540,000 views. running for governor of South Carolina. Oh, she's switching. Okay. Judge Jefferson was elected to the bench by the South Carolina legislature in 96 under the same lawyer-legislator system that still handpicks the judges who rule on cases brought by their own colleagues. What? That's what's broken in South Carolina's courts. I've gone head-to-head with the South Carolina judicial system, and I'm running for governor to fix this mess. Libs of TikTok points out prominent LGB, etc. Pride organization founder Jake Tucker, with red hair here and pursed lips and Clark Kent glasses and a pink shirt, has been convicted of 7 counts of sex trafficking, according to Libs of TikTok. Okay. TMK says, this is why we lose. We don't just face Democrats. We have Republicans like Tom Tillis defending James Comey after everything he did to undermine our elections and overthrow a duly elected president. Take a listen to this. This is why we lose, because we have so many fake Republicans who are messing things up for the rest of us. They're not Republican. They're pretending to be. And it's almost worse than just being a Democrat. It's like when you're in the foxhole and you're relying on your partner, your teammate, your buddy to, you got a system, you got a plan, you're helping each other, and they just abandon you. Dude, it's not good.
No, again, if this prosecution, which is coming from the Eastern District of North Carolina, if this whole case is based on a picture in the sand of a North Carolina beach, it again makes no sense to me. Number one, I used to work in the restaurant industry, and I think 86 actually has its roots as a cook.
That's my understanding too.
It has its roots in 86ing the menu or 86ing the product. I can't find any evidence except some that's come up after the president made the comment about the movies. I know the penal code in North Carolina, 187, means murder, but I can't find any evidence where 86 is used as a call for violence. And again, if it's more than just the picture, it reminds me of the 2 minutes of testimony against Powell. It better be more than just the picture. There have to be facts and circumstances beyond that to convince me. And Comey is the biggest disappointment of my Senate career. I actually stood up for this man in my first term in the Senate because I thought he was being attacked unfairly. I found out later that he was a political hack and he was motivated by a political agenda. That alone, though, would not allow me to support what I think on its face is some sort of a vindictive prosecution. Republicans are better than that. Let's leave it to the Democrats, and I could point to a litany of what I consider to be vindictive prosecutions and operations against conservatives, but let's not sink to their level. Let's be better.
Shockingly, I actually agree with them. I think a lot of this is coming down to, I hope you better have more than this. And the story that's been put out there is that there is more to this. This might have been the investigation to get the investigative ball rolling. But oh yeah, there's more to this. Do not be confused. There is a lot more to this. Well, we've been told trust the plan, or what have we been told? We've been told, no, it was a sting operation. No, they're going to get him. And you're like, well, of course they're going to get him. It's all obvious. It's all right in front of our faces. And nothing ever happens. So it's hard to just sit back and go, yeah, we'll face justice. This will be good. This will work out well. Well, maybe it won't. I hope there's more to the case than just this, but the story goes is that this sort of was like the latest in a long stream of offenses, and it got the ball rolling and it got the investigation going. It got the grand jury. They said it took them 11 months working on this case. And you just hope. Oh, that's good coffee. That tastes good. Even better than usual. I don't know why. Oh, did I switch coffees? No, I don't think so. Hey, here's a question of the day. If I got a TNAM blend of coffee, would you order some from me? And what type of coffee do you like? Just out of curiosity. Because I've been thinking about it. I know a lot of influencers have their own coffee. Seriously, I don't know why this one tastes better, but I like this a lot. Marion says, I can't decide if I like Democrats more or a RINO. Or maybe who you like less. And yeah, David, there's a lot of stupid shit out there for sure. So we shall see. Okay, this is what? Mike Lee exposing Senate Democrats after they all vote against a very basic, obvious thing that they should be voting for. No surprise.
In the Senate, we just voted on a simple voter ID measure. This was a scaled-down version of the Save America Act, one that requires only a photo ID at the time and place of voting and omits the proof of citizenship requirements. Even that was something that every single Democrat in the Senate voted against. Now, think about it this way. 2 years ago, every Senate Democrat...
Imagine every NBA arena banning their staff from asking you to see their tickets. Do you understand how insane that is? The Democrats have not been saying that party has been off the rails for a very long time. Vote every Democrat out in these primaries, every single one, and get your friends, get your family, research your candidates and your judges. I admit sometimes I don't research the judges. We got to put the right judges on the court because they're the ones that are letting the dirtbags back out to keep harming.
Supported a bill that contained a voter ID requirement. What changed? Why are they doing this?
Yeah, vote Democrats up. Just, by the way, in case you missed it, there have been some successes for Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi, the Trump administration, etc. I know it's easy to get fired up. It's easy to get annoyed. It's easy to get frustrated and black-pilled. I give up. Nothing matters. Nothing makes a difference. Nothing's ever going to change. And it's like, that's how they win. We can't do that. We can go black-pilled when we're done. If everything was all for nothing, let's sort it out when we're done. But it's like an NBA game. Go Cavs. I love sports. You keep playing. If there's time on the clock, you play. Yeah, but we're down. Switch it to football. No, just stay in basketball. Yeah, but we're down 11 points and there's only 2 minutes left. I've seen it happen. I watched Tracy McGrady hit like 5 straight 3-pointers to win a game and overtime or whatever it was. Rockets and forget who they beat. But he went bonkers. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Monetization doesn't make sense because I'd love to play you that clip of Tracy McGrady. It was like a minute left, 45 seconds left, and he hit a 3-pointer. They stopped him on defense, hit a 3-pointer. Free throws, they only hit one. Then another 3-pointer, then another 3. If there's time on the clock, you play. So Patriots, there's time on the clock. We're not giving up. No black pill zone here. We don't do that here. We're going to fight. Just not for party politics, just for common sense stuff. And since the Democrat Party is almost always on the wrong side, you just oppose them with the person who has the highest likelihood of winning. And then if that person's a bum, you vote them out. We found plenty of bum Republicans, but you got to fix that in the primaries. Got to fix that now. So we shall see. Stay tuned and be engaged. Don't sit this out and invite your friends, your neighbors, people at church, people at work. You don't talk too much at work with people that you're not simpatico with, but once you find them, you got to lean on each other a little bit. But just here's a win that we forget about.
Several suspects are now in custody after a Texas police officer was shot in the neck while responding to a call outside of an ICE facility.
Remember this? July 2025, Texas.
So it happened.
Assassination plot, a coup, a treasonous act against our own immigration patrols.
In Alvarado, which is near Fort Worth. This was over the holiday weekend, and Jonathan Hunt is following this story for us. Hi, Jonathan.
Good morning, Dana.
Well, all of that is to say that those 9 members of the Antifa terrorist cell have been found guilty on terrorism charges. Let me triple check. Is this all confirmed? I asked Grok. Yes, the key details are convicted March 13th, month and a half ago. Federal jury, Fort Worth, Texas. 9 North Texas defendants, member of Antifa cell. It's not alleged. They're guilty, so they take alleged out. Shot an officer in the neck. Described by the Department of Justice as the first federal case using terrorism statutes against an alleged... Stop. Hang on. Stop saying alleged. This is proven in a court of law now. Got it. Correction noted. Okay. Attempted murder, and then the police lieutenant Thomas Gross shot in the neck. I told Grok to stop saying alleged Antifa cell. No. Tyler Perry's my Aunt Tifa. I could see that. Wearing like a Big Mama's house dress. Aunt Tifa would be a good name for a character. I asked Grok for clarification because Senate is holding pro forma sessions May 4 and 7 next in session 11, which keeps it from being in recess long enough for President Trump to make his recess appointments. John Thune's office cited preferring rules changes over recess. Historical numbers match the data that Reagan had 240 recess appointments. George W. Bush, 171. Trump first term, 0. Senate keeps using pro forma sessions to block them. That's insane. Someone responded to us on the New American Media, pushing for Sheriff Chad Bianco to become the California governor, but we said, isn't he for amnesty, though? Because we watched him talk about amnesty. I'm telling you, there is a real problem if you yank all of these people out at once. And there are jobs, and there's massive disruption. Also, that's not any problem that we caused, we asked for, we wanted. You go to the front door, you pay your cover charge, you get a wristband, and come on in and have a good time. Like, how much am I supposed to police what's going on in the back room over there after you're the ones that snuck in? I didn't do that. I didn't force you to come in here. You know, it'd be too chaotic to get them out. You got to go. There's a lot of people that snuck into the club. Man, Kenneth is back with the fury. Yeah, going on recess. Recess, you mean like nap time? Well, for a lot of these Democrats, they do act like children. This woman rented a car in Europe. The American was driving a brand new 2026 car. The car gave her an alert that says it couldn't see her eyes. The car then automatically disabled the gas, and it slowed down enough that it could have caused an accident. Grok says, yeah, this account is a real experience renting a Ford 2026 model car in Europe. New vehicles already use driver monitoring systems with cabin cameras that track eyes, head position, and attentiveness to prevent distracted or drowsy driving. If it can't detect your eyes, it can issue alerts or limit acceleration. U.S. 2021 Infrastructure Act, Section 24220, mandates similar advanced impairment driving prevention technology in new passenger vehicles by 2027. It relies on cameras and sensors and can intervene if impairment is detected. Not a remote government kill switch, but onboard safety technology with privacy implications. It's already in some cars now. You want me to never buy another car? There's a great way to do that. No thanks. I've driven before. I've been tired before. I pulled off at rest stops and I've slept. Svetlana Lakova reminds us the deep state joined Jake Sullivan to become the next president. Sorry, they groomed him. They arranged a marriage. Hillary was going to be installed. But this dynasty, Jake Sullivan dynasty with Goodlander, They were set to take over from the Clintons, like handing it off. Oh. That's why you have Bill Burns, Tony Blinken, etc. attending. To stop Donald Trump, Sullivan and Hillary, with the help of Obama, Soros, U.S. and British intelligence, devised the Clinton plan to tie Donald Trump to Russian intelligence, a.k.a. Russiagate. President Trump won against all odds. Sullivan was devastated, so he, Soros, Obama, and company plotted to take out President Trump. The conspiracy continues to this day. Maggie Goodlander is the ringleader of the seditious six. Stay tuned. Fingers crossed. It's official. Scott Pressler, check out our interview with him in Milwaukee at the 2024 Republican Convention. He's got this to say about Texas representation. And I think the Marion and Patriot War, you guys would agree.
To this person, I make a promise right here and now. If Senate Majority Leader Thune does not pass the Save America Act, then I am going to Texas. Senate Majority Leader Thune wants to protect John Cornyn in the Senate, the incumbent, and the May 26th primary Senate runoff is coming up. So everybody in Texas, you have the opportunity. If Thune isn't going to give us what we want, then we are going to take away what he has. And in Louisiana, you have Senator Cassidy, who is up for election on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2026. If he doesn't get 50% of the vote, it goes to a runoff in December. And just so this person knows, with my platform, this year I've already been to Indiana, Florida, Pennsylvania, Utah to help with redistricting. I'm going to Indiana for the Cinco de Mayo primary. I've been going to Virginia for the April 21st referendum. I hope people vote no. We have a primary in Pennsylvania on May 19th. So no, I promise you, I am using my platform, and I'm probably respectfully one of the only influencers on the ground doing the actual boots on the ground work. So you have my commitment that I'm going to continue putting in that work.
Good. Gotta fix this country while we still can. RINOs are no good to any of us. I mean, just as bad as a Democrat, a lot of the time. Michael Caputo says the FBI is spying on the Trump.
To this person, I make a promise.
Press play. Jamie, don't do that again. The FBI is spying on the Trump team today, right now. How do I know? Michael Caputo says, I caught them. Here's a secret search warrant they filed against me, a Trump staffer, after President Trump won in 2024. They continued spying on me till December 10 of 25, 1 year into the new Trump admin 5 months ago. They're still spying now. Matt Van Swole, how long are we seriously going to just wait around on the GOP to pass the SAVE Act? Are we going to just choose to not have secure elections for the midterms? I'm sick of this. It genuinely feels like they're trying to lose the midterms, and I don't know why. Sean Farash says, if we flip Michigan, there's really no way we lose the Senate. Republicans' odds of flipping the Michigan U.S. Senate seat jump overnight. Mike Rogers with a almost 4-point lead over Abdul El Sayed. And it should be a red tsunami incoming. A couple of elections should have been red tsunamis. Got to fix the voting. Spencer Pratt now leads the race for mayor of LA, 5 points ahead at 28%, according to 0 Hour 1. I don't know what he's referencing. It's not linked to anything. But we said, the New American Media said he should be 50 points ahead. Tucker Carlson tells the New York Times why he calls President Donald Trump a hostage to Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. Trump said, I want a negotiated settlement with Iran. Israel stopped the settlement. He explained that the U.S.-Iran ceasefire terms included a requirement that Israel stop attacking southern Lebanon. You can't use the Iran war as a pretext for stealing more land from a sovereign country. That's not your country, he said. When Israel continued its attacks, Carlson noted that Trump refused to even criticize Netanyahu in public. Are you joking? That's slavery. That's total control of one man by another. So that's the theory. That Trump is a controlled puppet of Netanyahu. Marion says, come on, Scott Pressler, we can't afford to lose Texas to the Democrats. Yeah, and lose Texas to the RINOs. All right. I'm Tim Burchett. Daggum, I'll leave the light on for you.
And somebody wraps a Bible verse around it or something like that, because it's just good, conservative, hardworking folks, and they're very small contributions. And I've actually, for some reason, I think I've struck a nerve, because I've raised more here as of late than I have since I got to Congress.
Do you have to raise money for the party too, or?
Yeah, and that's a ripoff. To move up in leadership, you got to do two things, ma'am, and I'm going to be very blunt. You got to kiss ass, and you got to raise a ton of money for the conference, and they issue you a bill. And unfortunately, I don't do either one of those very well, and so people like me never really move up. I mean, I chair Doge, but they put me there to die. They don't want to do anything with Doge. They really don't. Nobody does. I do, but most of my...
The Doge subcommittee, he's saying Congress doesn't really want that to happen. Yogi says Spirit Airlines died tonight at the hands of socialist crusader Elizabeth Warren. She must be so proud to add another casket to her achievements. Tonight at 3 a.m., Spirit turns off the lights. 14,000 jobs gone. 30-plus smaller airports lose service. JetBlue offered money. Shareholders, flight attendants union, literally everyone voted yes in 2022. The combined company would have held 9% of the U.S. market against a big four that already owned 80%. For anyone who understands numbers, 9% is not a monopoly against the 80%. Elizabeth Warren said no. She wrote letters, pressured Buttigieg. Biden's DOJ sued. A federal judge killed the deal in January of 24. Her argument, the merger would cost consumers $1 billion a year. Now look at her collateral damage she dusts under the rug. 510 pilots gone in the months after. 1,800 flight attendants furloughed in December. 14,000 jobs lost in 23, 7,500 last week, 0 tonight. And that's just the people in Sprint. I keep reading that Spirit uniforms. Catering goes, fuel guys go, baggage crews, gate agents, airport coffee shops, hotels, rental cars in 70 cities Spirit flew to. Every airline job carries 3 more on its back. 40,000 people out of work because of one woman's moronic crusade against the market. And the math ain't mathin'. Spirit abandoned 90 routes during the death spiral. Fares on those routes were up 14% on average. It's all from Yogi. Finance maxing. I don't know who this is. 50,000 followers. Fares on those routes are up 14% now on average. The routes are gone. Oakland to New York. Newark, $135. More than double, up to $288. Fort Myers to San Juan, $92, more than double, up to $219. Kansas City to Newark, up 66%. That's reality, not some BS number from a study. So Senator Warren, tell us, how does this save the consumer money? Cheap carriers in a market drop fares 21% across the board. Southwest did this in the 90s and saved Americans $68 billion over 20 years. Elizabeth Warren killed it. That's what moronic politicians led by socialism do. Then, with her own blind arrogance, she tweeted Spirit's collapse is a Biden win for flyers. A win, she called it. 14,000 people reading termination letters tonight, and she's taking credit. This is socialism in 2026. A senator who's never made payroll thinks she knows how to run a market better than the people who own and work in the company. She saved you $1 billion on imaginary paper. She cost you 10 times that in real life. She didn't protect consumers from anything. 14,000 will go from working to welfare. She will make sure to blame billionaires, hardworking taxpayers, AI, capitalism, and whatever monster they make up tomorrow hiding under your bed. Higher taxes, fewer jobs, more expensive everything. She called it a win. I hope you enjoy winning. Right Angle News Network says the Philadelphia boy who exposed his fellow classmates for being unable to read simple sentence is now under threat of being blocked from graduating and expelled simply for blowing the whistle on his school's low literacy rates. Not cool. That's journalism. End wokeness. Take a look. It's not violence on both sides. Angry white female athlete. Oh. She's wearing a shirt that says kindness, or it's about kindness as she does this. You can't make it up. Wayne Dunlap says, hey, here's the Democrat platform. If Trump is for it, we're against it. That's pretty much their entire platform. Yeah, the corporation said, spear it. You mean like 86 it? You mean like wipe it with a cloth? I don't know what you're talking about. Dina says, to be in Congress, one should be an accountant. Yeah, you should at least get the basic concepts. Miles Taylor, anonymous former DHS chief of staff, Google's security executive, launched a website called GTFO ICE that collects your full name, email, phone number, and zip code to join an anti-ICE rapid response network and publishes user information via public API. Almost 18,000 people signed up. The sign-up data is exposed on a public REST API. No true authentication, no rate limiting, full records, names, emails, phone numbers, zip codes, timestamps. The man who ran the third largest federal department, 250,000 employees with a $60 million budget, who oversaw election security architecture and led counterterrorism operations, then served as Google's head of national security policy. That's the guy that can't secure a sign-up form. But he does milk hundreds of thousands of NGO dollars on these credentials, while freeloading off his fame as the person who wrote the infamous New York Times article, I am part of the resistance inside the Trump administration. And despite Data Republican pinging Miles Taylor about this 12 hours ago, the REST API is still wide open and exposed as of now. Everything has been turned over to FBI, HSI, ICE, and more agencies. Pete Buttigieg, in case you want to hear Democrats say, no, it's not our fault about Spirit.
The Department of Transportation has generally not gotten involved in these merger cases, but that's changing today. It is so important to make sure that passengers have choices, that they have access to low fares, that they have access to competition.
So you remove the competition. Insane.
And yet we've seen less and less and less of that competition over the years. We are taking a step that, again, is unusual in terms of recent years, but we think is the right thing to do, supporting the DOJ's lawsuit and independently using our own authorities, which are a little bit different from the DOJ, starting our own investigation and taking other actions.
Good stuff. Yep. Clay Travis, here's Mayor Pete announcing the Biden admin's decision to fight the JetBlue Spirit merger so they could protect consumers and ensure low fares. Now the airline doesn't exist and passengers are stranded across the country. Oh, you'll love this one. This might be our moment of zen that we end on today. A couple more, and then I'll end on that one, because I love train wreck interviews. All right, here's a new report detailing just how bad the anti-Christian hate was at the Biden Department of Justice.
On a new DOJ report alleging the Biden administration targeted Christians for investigations and prosecutions. Lauren Green is live from New York City. She has much more. Hi, Lauren. Good morning.
Hey, Dana. Well, the Department of Justice-led task force to eradicate anti-Christian bias released 14 findings that paint a picture of the Biden presidency that went beyond disagreement and moved to punishing Christians who held conservative religious beliefs in conflict with the administration's pro-choice gender ideology agenda. The report found the Biden DOJ brought multiple cases against pro-life activists, many of them Christians, under the FACE Act, the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances. Email correspondence shows prosecutors privately mocked Christian pro-life views as culty and pursued more severe charges and harsher sentences for peaceful protests or pro-life defendants. In contrast, following the Dobbs decision in 2022 that overturned Roe v. Wade, there was a wave of vandalism and arson targeting churches and pregnancy resource centers. But the Biden DOJ pursued comparatively few prosecutions under the same FACE Act. Christian colleges and institutions were scrutinized and penalized for holding traditional views on gender, accusing them of Title IX violations and threatening school funding and accreditation. The report also cited the infamous FBI memo out of the Richmond field office that warned of radical traditionalist Catholics as extremists. The memo was withdrawn after public backlash, but the DOJ revealed it relied on the now disgraced Southern Poverty Law Center's list of hate groups. But the task force report concluded that the administration worked to suppress religious speech it did not like and used the weight of the federal government to marginalize certain kinds of Christians.
Uh-huh. And you shut down media companies like mine that were talking about the 2020 selection, talking about COVID. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
People on the left think of themselves as defenders of the separation between church and state, but instead what you have is the state authorizing and sanctioning certain types of religion over others.
A spokesperson for President Biden declined to comment, but Catherine Lahman, a former education secretary for civil rights under the Biden administration, told Politico that, quote, there was no religious discrimination that operated to infect any of our investigations.
Incorrect. Remember, FEMA was accused of not doling out aid to people if they had a President Trump sign in their yard during the election? They said, well, we went to some of those houses before and we faced hostility, so we stopped going. You gotta be kidding me. And then they claim they didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, pro-life is culty? Really? Can you say upside down clown world? Exactly. Why was a Chicago police officer killed? Well, it's because of Democrat policies.
The smiling, the smirking, the laughing, the I love yous from the family, even after hearing the despicable acts that this piece of did, it's appalling, it's disgusting. It's the reason the death penalty should still be in Illinois.
A 7-time convicted felon out on pretrial release, accused of killing a Chicago police officer. Chicago Police Union President John Catanzara will join us on that.
Yep. Stop letting crazy, violent people out. 7-time known convicted felon released by a liberal judge on pretrial release, and then Kate, a Chicago police officer with zero remorse. Smirking and laughing in court. Give this scum the death penalty, says Eric Daughtry, and hold the judge liable. I agree. Is this real? And Wokeness put this out. They're saying this is LA Councilman Hugo Soto Martinez.
Recognize that we have folks living in this country who've been here 20 years. They've started a family. They pay their taxes. Many of them are homeowners, but they don't have a say over the policies that affect their children and their families on any given day.
You're talking about illegal alien invaders who snuck into this country. What kind of rights do you want them to have without a ticket to the nightclub, without a ticket to the movie? You want them to? What are you talking about?
Motion only asks to seek to explore whether we want to head in that direction. I think the details of who's going to be involved, how we're going to do it, all that needs to get sussed out. Recognize that we have folks living in this country who've been here 20 years. They've started a family. They pay their taxes. Many of them are homeowners, but they don't have a say over the policies that affect their children and their families on any given day.
So this guy is pushing for illegals to vote, allegedly. Oh my gosh. Gateway Pundit reporting Scott Adams' ex-wife and caretaker Shelley Miles passes away. Oh my gosh, because she was kind of taking over all of his stuff. Scott Adams, one of my podcast preferences, passed away a few months ago at 68 after a battle with prostate cancer. Adam's ex-wife Shelley Miles lovingly cared for Scott in his final days. Shelley, who announced his passing on a Coffee with Scott Adams live stream. Shelley also shared the beautiful message that Scott Adams accepted the Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior before he passed, which in the Christian faith is what you need to do to get to that other side. So, you know, like I've said for a long time, either select a ping pong ball and we'll see when we're gone, or get 0 ping pong balls. I was raised Christian, so I've stayed Christian, but I've had a chance to go back and look around at a million things and come back to it. A Rumspringa, if you will. So the co-host Erica says I'm going to be a little bit limited and vague about the details. That's what I want you guys to be okay with. It's going to be limited information and there's going to be many questions. Respectfully, let's keep this private. I wonder if, oh, geez. With the family's permission, we're sharing that information now. Shelley has passed away. Something that the three of us have known for a while and been holding it quietly until the family felt ready for it to be shared. Shocking, feels impossible to take in, and we feel the same way too. We won't be sharing the personal details. Just so many references when they announce it that they're not going to talk about it. It makes you wonder if it was her own hand. When you don't have information, you create speculation. The family deserves privacy. She was extraordinary, kind, thoughtful. What the heck? The Scott Adams School announced today. Wow. Oh, boy. Okay. Well, that just came through. Okay. Well, that was a... Speaking of Jesus, here's Vivek Ramaswamy. I forgot sharing this. This was 3 days ago. We're just about at the end of our stories here today. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button, hit like, share the show with a friend. We want you to invite all your friends into the bar when we gather to go over the news stories. And if you appreciate independent journalism, independent media, regular content, some wit, some humor, some interesting stories, some wide weave stories, and more, please consider contributing to the New American Media monthly. Set it and forget it on Patreon or become a subscriber on Rumble or YouTube, as well as drop a Rumble rant tip or a super chat tip into the tip jar. It'll go cling, cling. I assume they're all gold coins. Cling. $4,500. Cling. Another $4,500. Cling. I don't want pennies. No zinc pennies. Just gold coins, please. All right, Vivek Ramaswamy. I hadn't heard this before, but this is
So I'll be very honest. It's not a hard question. So in our faith tradition, Jesus Christ is a son of God. I know that is different than saying he's the son of God. But that is my view of Jesus Christ.
He is a son of God. That sort of just means he's just a person.
He's got our family. Do we worship in churches? Yes, we do. Is that compatible with our faith? Yes, it is. One true God in many forms. So that's different. And
one true God in many forms.
I understand that.
That is different. The only way to heaven is through Jesus Christ.
I think that is the path. That is a path to heaven is the way we look at it. But belief in God is what we say. Yeah. Belief in the one true God. That's the way I look at it.
Will Vivek get the nomination to become the Ohio governor? Oh, Amy Acton needs to be kept out. No sound? Can everybody hear sound? I see sound. Will Vivek get the nomination to become the Ohio? Let me go back. Yeah, I played on my side.
Do we worship in churches? Yes,
doing the playback. That no sound might be on your side, Mr. Kenneth. Will Vivek get the nomination to become the Ohio? And okay, got it. We'll see. May Day protests all across the U.S. Yep. Marxist, socialist-backed rallies in North Carolina. Schools cancel class to vouch for communist policies, defund the schools, homeschool. Nithya Raman is awful for Los Angeles. Spread the word. Vote for Spencer Pratt. I sort of love this interview because this lady is a wackadoo. Seattle Socialist Mayor Katie Wilson abruptly, well, her and the staffers, they no longer want to deal with KOMO News senior reporter Chris Daniels when she can't answer basic questions. And that seems to be kryptonite to the left, to the Marxists, to the socialists, to the radicals, to the leftists, to the RINOs. Just ask them a couple of straightforward questions. Ask them questions. They really can't deliver answers. So ask more questions.
I wouldn't be an excellent reporter if I didn't ask you. It's been an eventful week, and I think people are concerned about you. How do you feel after Tuesday, after what happened, what transpired?
I'm doing great. Got a great team supporting me, and I'll just say, we don't have any indication that that shooting was targeted or anything like that. So I think it's a reminder of how much work we have to do as a city on gun violence, but I'm doing fine.
Yeah, and that's what they always do. They blame gun violence. They love to blame the gun, the inanimate object.
Last question would be related to that. I talked to people in that neighborhood who said that. Hold on. It's just one last question. People in that community who are concerned that there's been rising gun violence and that there should be more surveillance cameras and that kind of thing. That's obviously been an issue that you weighed in on. Does that change it? Does that change your perspective at all?
Let's keep it on. Yeah, let's keep it on the topic of this event. Thanks.
But does that change your perspective at all on the issue of surveillance?
He does a good job, staying composed and trying to keep going back to it. But the staffer is definitely trying to get her to stop.
Surveillance cameras based on what you went through on Tuesday.
So we, yeah.
Appreciate it, but let's keep it on topic, okay? She's about to answer the question, though. Okay. I mean, it looks worse when you jump in like that.
I'm sorry, I specifically said to keep it on topic. Okay.
But I also have to ask the questions that people want to have answered.
Maybe we can set up a different time for that.
But the mayor's a busy person.
I understand. Maybe we can set up with Sage sometime.
We'll talk to Sage.
Well, Sage hasn't returned phone calls all week, so.
That's your government bureaucracy. They kick it over to Sage. Oh, yeah, set it up with Sage. No, Sage isn't responding and she doesn't do these things. That's why we're here. That's why we're asking. Go. You're a public servant. Dadgummit. Yeah, Tim Burchett's going to sign a bill on gun violence. Dadgum. Dadgum. My gun's never been violent.
It's been a busy week, but I will definitely get with Sage. Yeah.
We're just trying to keep it in the scope and respect the event itself. If that makes sense.
Well, you can respect what I'm doing.
Silence is such an underappreciated tactic in a negotiation, in a conversation. Right? Silence gets uncomfortable. And it's one of the best ways to get the other side talking, to keep the other side talking. It's very underused. A lot of salespeople, you're told, don't talk past the sale. You got the agreement, all right, just take it and go. You don't need to keep going. But one of the tactics that's very important is just silence, whether it's a garage sale, pretty much anywhere. Yeah, you want respect. Great point, Dina. How about respect for the people who want answers? Exactly. Dina says, if we were in the European Union, we would say vehicle violence, and UK knife violence. Yeah. Never talk about the person behind the knife or behind the wheel. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Your job is to ask questions.
We're just trying to keep it
silence
in the
is
scope
so good.
and respect the event itself. If that makes sense.
Well, you can respect what I'm doing.
Your job is to ask questions. It's our job to figure out which questions
we just need to keep it within the constraints of the event itself. Appreciate it.
I'll talk to Sage. Okay, figured out. Thanks, Chris. Okay. Were you going to talk to Andrew?
I already did.
Okay.
We got 4 minutes, so good.
Okay.
If you've seen anything from this Seattle socialist mayor, Katie Wilson, yeah. Buckle up, buttercups. if you're up there in Seattle, she's bringing the pain, not in a good way. Not in a good way. All right, but in a good way, we did a great show today. Monday shows are always tricky because there's so much to get to. So I really tried to break down and cut out the opening monologue and just get to it. But I added another platform. I gave you some Facebook. I gave you some Instagram. I gave you our X feed. We shared news story. We also do Telegram. We also do Signal. Not so much on Signal, but we're expanding onto new platforms and Twitch, Kick, D Live, all of that jazz. Thank you everybody for being here. Hi, Ben. What's up? Ben, what you doing? Hi. Ben pushed his way into the room. I wonder for what. Maybe he's ready for lunch. But it's good timing because I'm ready to wrap this up, sir. I appreciate everybody being here. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with a friend. If you want to drop a Rumble Rant or Super Chat tip into the tip jar. My shift is over, so I'm going to cash out what we have. Oh, how do I raid somebody? I'm going to do that today. I want to raid somebody's show. I want to send you somewhere. Not an endorsement. I sort of don't even know who. I don't have anyone planned that I want to do this with, but let me ask Grok. I want to try to do a Rumble raid. How do I Rumble raid my audience into someone else's stream as I close the show today? Who else is live right now that covers the news in an honest way? Asking Grok for a recommendation. Let's try this. Searching Grok. Home of Real News. The first one that came up is Real America's Voice, and I did get to report for them in the Bronx. Talked with Jack Posobiec. They used my content with Steve Bannon. Was on some other panel show with 3 other people. Sure, I'll do that. Hashtag raid and then paste their site in the comments. So let's go to Rumble. Yeah, I think Real America's Voice streams nonstop. RAV, where's Rav? It won't let me go to it. Okay. Oh, okay. Ben is making noise in the other room. Okay, so what is their site? How does this work? Is this when I, all right, here, let me ask chat. So I found a live stream on Real America's Voice, and it's all of this stuff. Is it supposed to be this, or is it supposed to be just their homepage? Raid. It's hashtag. It's /raid, and then post their site. Well, I guess look, if we transport you to another channel, which will be cool. Yeah, I know, Ben. Let me try to do a raid first. All right, buddy. Now, let me raid first. He's been very needy today. All right, I'm gonna try this. That's go into their chat and say it. Hi, Ben. Thanks for being here. Did that work? Everybody's here. Now I have Mr. Bean here. Or do I have to go to like their home page? Where? I'm almost there. Let me ask Grok again. Hang on, Ben. I gotta You're just sitting right in the middle of my work. So I typed this into the RAV comment box. Did I do it right? I missed something. Almost. I missed one space. Add a space between #raid and HTTPS. Okay. Let's see if we can do this. Hi, Mr. Bean. Aw, buddy. You see his headbutt. You can be so sweet sometimes. And stoic, huh? Right, Ben? All right, let's give it a shot. Hey, Ben, may the 4th be with you, says Kenneth. Yes, you got here late, but better late than never. And by the way, you can always just rewind and watch the beginning of the show. We hit you with a ton of stories today, a lot to get caught up on the weekend. Like a lot of us, we try to do other things on Saturday, Sunday. All right, I'm going to try this one more time and see if you disappear. Check this out. This might work. 3, 2, 1. If I disappear, I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace. Did it work? I don't know how to do this. Type it in the RAV chat. Oh. As a channel owner or moderator. Oh. I am not a channel mod or owner. Oh, bud. Does that mean I can't raid? Well, that would make a difference. No, you can't raid if you're not a channel owner or moderator. All right. Well, you live and you learn. I guess it's not possible. Well, we gave it a shot. For now, signing out on behalf of those of you out there in the TNAM universe. I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. See you tomorrow. Peace.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.